The best ones are the ones where you have where it comes out of the blue.
Unexpected, Lord.
Fantastic.
Oh, God, yes.
My friend Dennis, I am reporting to you back in España. I have returned with my son and have left my daughter in the U.S.
Yes. Now, I was thinking that students and teachers alike very well may be amazed by your daughter. I mean, not just impressed in a way that's, meaning not flattery, but,
yeah, I mean, no one,
but
it's not like she walked down the hallway the first day and the music stopped and everyone was just like, whoa, and she was slow motion walking down the hallway. Like, it wasn't, I'm gonna have to take this cat out and shoot him. Hold on 1 second. Apologies. So, like, at first, the kids were just like, yeah, some new girl, whatever. And only the ones that had any sort of attention span, like, noticed and were like, hey, you don't sound like us. Are you foreign?
uh-huh.
And then she was able to say, yeah, I'm from Spain. And there was one guy who had heard of Spain. Like, like when I went to high school, people thought Spain was Mexico. But and so this one guy was like, hey, do you know this 18-year-old soccer player that plays for Barcelona? And she was like, I know of him, and I know that he like summers near where we live. And that immediately was like, whoa, I want to ask more questions of this girl. And so like some people gathered around and they were like asking questions about what's it like in Spain and a little bit of that. She had a brief moment of people actually giving a shit. But, and then in class, teachers, like, so her math teacher last year was kind of a deadbeat and like didn't do much teaching and didn't really come into class and was just kind of a loser. And so she's kind of behind on math. So in her math class, they're doing stuff that she is like, whoa, what even is this? Because they have this solid progression from math 1 to math 2 to math 3, and she's in math 3.
Sure.
And the teacher is assuming that everyone knows everything from math 1 and math 2. But she's coming from a totally different path, and like quadratic equations and stuff. Like, she had done a little bit of that in Spain, but a lot of it was like, what the hell?
Tutor catch her up.
Right, exactly. So while we were there, her mother and I helped a lot with her homework and taught her quite a bit.
So how long were you there when she was in school?
Her mother 1 week and me 2 weeks.
How many?
2 weeks.
2.
A fortnight. And
yeah.
And so
Betsy and Pop are taking over.
Yeah, except they're not doing the math, but turns out there are like apps on your phone where you can like point the camera at the equation and it will like explain step by step how to solve that particular homework problem, which
makes sense of it to begin with.
Which is great. Like, you need that for learning, but obviously you need to, like, you can't just like get the answer and write it down and then say you're done with your homework, because you have to actually learn it so that when there's a test.
It all depends on how much you absorb it.
Right. So
the best thing to do is to see that, read that, understand it, and then very quickly afterwards take a test question.
Right.
While it's fresh on your mind, and you'll, just think of 3 key words, and those 3 key words will. So it's just all memory.
So math is a challenge, but sadly, so she's only taking 4 classes. She goes to school for 7 hours, and there's only 4 classes because they're like an hour and a half long.
Wow.
And
That's
it's
long
it's weird.
time.
Like, yeah. But her other classes are chemistry and physical science, which is like a mixture of chemistry and physics, but not really physics, and then biology. And in those, sadly, she is super bored because like they're doing stuff that she did like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
And
she can do her math homework.
yeah, that's one way to think about it. But also, like, she's being more pragmatic, and she is concerned of like, yeah, but then when I come back to Spain next year, I will have just missed an entire year of what everyone else was learning in those subjects. And she's kind of scared that that will throw her back or something. Like, it's a valid concern, and we just had a call with her an hour ago, and we've counseled her to go and talk to her student counselor because it's what they're freaking there for, and just express her concerns about, look, I wanted to come here to have this experience, but I thought I took the highest classes that were available, but they are not engaging me intellectually. Like, what should I do? So
Yeah.
we will see. Like, there's hopefully, like, my ideal scenario here is that they say, oh, okay, well then let's put you in these higher classes for these 3 subjects. Or like, let's put you, like, because she's in like, the way they like, she's in like honors biology, and the level above that is AP biology, which gives you advanced placement points. And I imagine beyond that, there's like, go to the community college biology courses or whatever. So I really don't know. Like, we need to investigate this, because it would.
Well, and you're provided, of course, a point of understanding for the initial, stay, where the things that you didn't think of, you think of, and you realize this and you realize that. But at the end of the day, the principal of a school has tremendous power to be able to say, for example, well, you know what? Instead of you even coming to these classes, why don't you just use that time to get a tutor from Spain so you don't fall behind? And use that hour and a half that way.
Yeah.
Because then you will be learning, and frankly, we don't have any reason to believe that even at the highest grade level, the biology is going to challenge you. So why don't you just pick up there and kill 2 birds with 1 stone?
So
Help
there's
with
some.
the anxiety of returning.
But who's going to pay for the Spanish tutor to spend an hour and a half teaching biology over Zoom, when like those are like lab intensive, like chemistry and biology?
Yeah,
are
well,
like,
it's not necessarily that way, that it's a hour and a half Zoom every week. It could be a
every day.
half-hour Zoom and then an hour of work.
Yeah.
And I'll see you next week. I mean, you don't. I'm not giving it parameters, and as far as the cost goes, the burden of the payment of that should be on the school if she's attending. They've got to
fanciful.
provide. Well, I'm simplifying it, or else we didn't have a starting point. But yeah, I mean, it's not unreasonable. And they could say, well, we do have this grant fund we get that is for exceptional students, and we can do a scholarship, so we can help with that. Well, who knows? But they won't give you such an offer as to say, catch up with your persons. Of course, if you provide it as an option, and for example, that it's even doable. I mean, you're looking for all, you know they're only going to be online once a month together, and 3 weeks of the month is all work that's got to be done. And
Yeah, I mean, for sure, there are remote
Yeah.
courses like that. So, yeah, who knows where this goes? Like, it's all up in the air at the moment. Currently, like she said today in her chemistry class, they were going to do some lab work. And so they all put on their lab aprons, and they put on their goggles, and they put on their big heavy gloves, and they spent 10 minutes looking at a candle burn. Just looking at the fire, at the flame. And then afterwards, after they'd gotten all their protective gear on to watch a freaking candle, they were asked, so is this a chemical reaction or a physical reaction? And it's just like, what? How dumbed down is science in America that this is what class is like? So I don't know.
Watching a candle, and they were ready for a conflagration.
Yeah, they watched a candle burn, and then they blew out the candle, and the teacher said, "Okay, so is there any evidence that could help us figure this out?" And the kids were like, "Oh, I don't know." And the one kid that thinks himself the smartest of the class raised his hand and was like, "There's smoke coming off of the wick." And everyone was like, "Oh yes, let's write that down for our answer." Like, just, I don't know. Like, she was doing like chemical formulae for like calculating nitrates and nitrites and stuff like before, and
At school, at home.
yeah, and like, but like when I was in 10th grade, so a year below her, in the same town, different high school, same town, we were doing crazy high level chemistry shit. But like, it's all like, I imagine the curriculum and the what's expected at the end, for your final tests or whatever, has changed. But it so depends on your teacher. Like, if you have a teacher that really gives a fuck, then you're going to learn so much more. But it's this whole problem with the education system where it's hard to measure, and so we try to measure it, and then we get bad results, and so we make the tests easier, and then we teach her the tests, and then we end up not knowing a goddamn thing.
Right. Well, imagine that a fix is as simple as putting a eyeball camera up in her class so she can view it at her leisure and then do the work accordingly and have someone who can help her if she needs help.
In what class?
But her science classes that she will fall behind on.
Her Spanish. So do this.
Yeah, her Spain-based classes. Put a camera in there, and then she just watches it. And
well, she watches it in her free time after she's spent an hour and a half in.
No. Instead of going to class.
Then why even be there?
Because it's a multifaceted experience.
It is for sure.
Cross between virtual and real, and as she states, it's part of the experience, and she loves that part of it, and she wants it to work. And now she realizes, in order for it to work, it's not just going to school here and dealing with all that.
Right.
It's let's get a blended thing here where the shit I'll fall behind on.
I don't know how so much.
Somehow I get.
Your assumption that she loves all that is true, but yes, like so my initial take on this was, look, man, there's more to life than academia.
Oh boy, that's bad.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
And like following rules about silencing your phone and things. But like, there's more. Like, if she stays there the whole year, she's gonna have so many memories of freaking high school in the States, like that will shape her for the rest of her life. But so that one, my first was like, yeah. So what if she falls a little bit behind? You know, whatever. She'll still do okay. And my wife had a pretty good comeback to that of like, yeah, but it's not like this is going to be her only ever experience abroad. Like, we've set her on a path where she's gonna have the living abroad experience, like for sure. So it doesn't.
And what's the point?
It doesn't have to be junior year, because it will be later, and that is entirely true. So yeah, it's all up in the air. We will see where things go, but it's here we is. So.
Well, I would start with the simple fact that my belief, anyway, is that there's no reason that she needs to fall behind. There's no rational thinking that would say, "Oh no, that's."
You're assuming that they let her do anything other than sit there with the other students in her.
Well, it all
Dumb down
depends
classes.
on the educator. I
Right.
mean, when I was an educator, and when I was very experimental and creative, and tried a bunch of different things. And people who will look at what she's saying and say, you know what, there's no reason you need to be concerned about falling behind. Let's arrange for you not to. I mean, seriously, putting a camera up into her class in Spain, whatever classes, and then watching them and doing the homework with a help link, maybe a couple of students. Nothing to it.
Yeah.
Not expensive.
I mean, it's not a live connection. There's a 6-hour difference. So.
No, she sees tapes.
Yeah.
She's on her own time,
Yeah.
and she does it during school hours. If she gets anyway.
That seems so. Immediately there, you have in Europe. There's a bunch of like privacy laws about recording minors, taking photos of minors or videos of minors. Like, it would require parental consent from everyone in her Spanish class.
Unless it just had the shot of the teacher.
Yeah, and then when the teacher walks amongst the students, you just see the whiteboard. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, these are very hands-on. Like, if it was math, fine, maybe that's one thing, but biology and where
right.
there's like microscopes and shit involved.
Right.
It's not really that conducive to remote learning, but
Well,
I don't know.
I would think too that if there was a plan for her to, upon a return, spend a certain number of weeks with a couple of A students or whatever to get caught up, so she knew that there was that opportunity to get caught up, that reduces the stressful question of what if I fall behind? Oh, well, I won't fall that far behind, and I got these other people going to step up and help me through it.
Yeah, so my plan as of the recording is to go, because school hasn't started here yet. It will start in 2 days. My plan is to go maybe tomorrow and try and talk to the principal of the school here and just
Lay it out.
plant the seed of, look, this is what my daughter is experiencing. If she decided to come back here, could she be enrolled starting on October 1st? Like, at what point is it too late to come back?
Because she's considering that pretty step.
I mean,
Big
that's the pull the cord and ejector seat.
Which
option.
she's not anywhere near that point, though.
I mean, it depends on what the American school says, because if they're like, we're not going to deal with you because this is like you came here as you thought this was a privilege of yours that you could just come to our school, and like now you're telling us that our teachers are shit. Like, obviously she wouldn't present it like that, but like you could imagine.
Yeah, right.
Someone taking it that way, and if they were real jerks about it, which I don't think they will be, then we'd be like, okay, well, whatever. So,
Well, you got principals, you got school boards, you got advocacy groups. I mean,
yeah,
there's no end to the
levels of bureaucracy.
small p political spectrum
Yeah.
of education, but she doesn't particularly want to get the center of attention, I'm sure, as special needs and blah blah blah, and what could overwhelm that feeling is to say, but god damn it, I don't want to fall behind.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
and
She's got to weigh all that. It's a great experience for her to have to think this through.
right, exactly.
Maybe
Like
that's-
it's an
maybe not so
education in
great for
in
you.
itself, that having this experience, like weighing all these options and being like, okay, well, yes, I might get to learn the rules of American football if I stay here, but also I need to learn chemistry if I want to go into medicine or whatever.
So the Lions ate the big one. Speaking of football,
Yes.
NFL rules. They went to Green Bay and were beat by Green Bay for the first time in 2.5 years. Opening game. I didn't finish watching it. I said, this is disgusting. I said, it was 3 and out on their 1 yard line, and they were swarmed, and it was the third quarter, and they were down 10, and I said, hon, let's go out to eat.
Nice.
I recorded it, but then I saw the end result. I couldn't bear to watch it.
Yeah.
All this hype, here I was, had a drink, was all psyched up, and it was terrible from the first play through it was just terrible the whole time. I thought, wow, I'm bummed. I've had a couple of beers, and I'm not happy. So we went out to eat, and I gorged. Came home and watched the Buffalo Bills play the Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl contenders both. And each team has stopped the other team from progressing toward the Super Bowl. Big rivals.
Yeah.
And if the question were how many teams score 40 points or more and still lose, the answer is not many.
Right.
But with 1 minute and 36 seconds left, the Buffalo Bills, down by 15 points,
No.
came back to win it with a field goal in the last second. All because of the major play to strip the prolific running back from Green Bay,
Wait. So how do you get?
Derrick Henry, and stripped the ball from them, recovered it on their own 20-yard line, scored a touchdown, came back 3 and out, scored another touchdown, and then got control of the clock and crept up the field to get within range, which now, by the
17
way,
points.
if you're not up to date, the record for field goals now is 64 yards.
Jesus Christ.
64 yards. And so this wasn't anything like that, because they took it in and let the clock wind down to the last second, and Max Prater, who's been around a while and one of the most prolific scorers in the history of the NFL, as many kickers are, and he fucking drilled it up the middle. Fucking Bills win.
17 points in less than 2 minutes on the clock, obviously.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the thing about sports is that like anything is possible. Like that can happen. Like in soccer, I've seen a team score 2 goals in extra time or whatever in the 4 minutes or whatever that they have, and like that can happen. Just wild.
Well, and the records are replete with most points scored in less amount of time.
Of course, like for sure.
It seems impossible when you hear but having watched the Buffalo Bills face the Kansas City Chiefs in the final game of the postseason before the Super Bowl in the semifinal, is what they did in 40 seconds, what they did in 26 seconds. Score, a kick, 3-goal, win.
Yeah.
I mean, in 36 seconds or whatever, don't quote me on it, it's just one of those incredible things. And having watched it, screaming, oh my God, stop them, stop! And they just,
especially with those sports where the clock stops. Like, I've grown accustomed to watching soccer where clocks don't stop.
Even if you're out of bounds?
Even if you're out of bounds. It just goes and goes, and then at the end of each half, the ref decides how much time was wasted because some doofus was grabbing his ankle, pretending to be hurt, and so then they add extra time, but like,
wow, that seems subjective.
Well, yeah, but like refereeing
unusual.
All sports is super subjective. Like,
well,
it's what you see, and like in soccer now, they're like, as previously in all the sports, it was just what the ref saw. So like, if a player, if your teammate was standing between you and the ref didn't have a line of sight on you, then you could just punch the opponent in the balls or whatever, and like, if the ref didn't see it, it didn't happen. But like, now with cameras everywhere, and
I just swallowed a bug. It flew in my mouth. A big fucking flying gnat.
Well, don't.
It fluttered in the back of my throat.
Well, don't.
It'll clean out my intestines.
Hey, I mean,
with its wings.
A little bit of protein never hurt anyone. But yeah, so sports be weird. Yeah.
So does your daughter play soccer?
She does not. So soon all the sports teams are going to come after all the newbies and like try and recruit them.
What does she want to do? She's karate, right?
Her sport is taekwondo, and that's not really a thing that they do in that town. Like, there is one taekwondo studio, but like, to go there is like super expensive and probably.
And she's already a black belt?
Probably not, yeah, and she's already a black belt. So,
yeah.
But anyone that really knows martial arts knows that black belt is like just the first step about, oh, you're actually serious about this? Okay, fine. Because there are so many more levels. But she's considering swimming. Our dear listener, my father, is very pro swimming because that's what he did in high school, and went from not really knowing how to swim very well to like swimming in high school and college. And she's not entirely closed to that idea. So she's considering that. The cross-country coach found her somehow and was chatting her up and was like, so, cross-country, do you like to run? And she was like, no, I hate running. and he was like, that's probably because no one taught you how to enjoy it. And apparently he had enough charisma and swagger that like she was like, huh, maybe this is a thing. So
Yeah, I did track, and I tried cross country. I ran for a couple of years. I was running downhill in a race, a 10K race, and there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I was running downhill too fast, and I stepped into a pothole, and my leg jerked backwards.
you might have told this story, but please continue.
And I kind of stumbled, but I ran, and much to my later chagrin, just at the time when I knew I should drop out, I went through a stop where there was people with sprinklers. And so I was extremely refreshed and thought, I can do this.
No.
And I got done, and I blacked out. And when I blacked out, and I was not unconscious as much as blind. I couldn't see, and I ended up having just to lay down and whatever.
Because your body was just like in shock from whatever the hell you did to your knee.
I don't know. I guess I just overexerted to the point of exhaustion, I suppose.
But that was after you had joined high school in crutches because of a motorcycle thing.
Well, many years later.
Okay.
Yeah, I had children when this happened.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about high school. Okay.
And I ran in high school, which is where we started to talk about. I ran track, and I might have run cross country once, but more track. But
Track seems safer.
the coach,
Fewer bears.
the coach for track, a priest,
Of course, because the Catholic high school.
forced the whole team to resign because the football coach had seen us all, the team, swaggering down a city street drinking, breaking curfew, etc. So the priest fired the whole squad,
Filthy
and
sinners.
before the next meet, met with each player.
Mm-hmm.
And when he met with me, which I was later, and it took a while, I was like, I'm good. I'm good.
I don't need this.
Yeah, I'm having more fun now. Because now what I'm doing is I like to drink, and I am drinking.
Drinking's better than running.
So I'm gonna do that instead. I don't think I said any of that. But you get
You're like, cross this, Father. Yeah.
But the coach, the priest, was my favorite teacher, and he was a stubbly-headed dude. He was in his 40s probably when I was there, and he was fit, coached in this and that, and he used to rub his head and say when he had something to kind of correct you
Right.
about. He would rub his head and he would say, my friend, my friend, you've got to blah, 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 whatever. And so there.
What a weird what a weird gesture.
My friend, rubbing his head. And so he was high profile on the caricature
That's funny.
list. I used to stand in front of my classmates and imitate teachers.
Well, if you've got one that has such a clean, impersonable behavior, then maybe.
So my science teacher, Mr. Burns, one of the few lay teachers we had,
Lay teacher
He had
because
a
he
big-
wasn't a priest,
wasn't a cleric. He wasn't a priest or nun,
heathen.
and he had a big pot belly, and he used to marvel at some of his skills at the board when he was doing. I think it was math or something, but anyway, one of the impressions I did before he got there was I got up, opened my shirt so I had like my belly protruding, and had the jacket and the tie and all that, and drew a circle
Yep.
like he used to do. Then stand back and say, "That looks pretty good. That's a good circle." just as he was in the door. He was in the door watching me say about that. He came in laughing. He said, "It is a pretty good circle. That was pretty good." And, as opposed to what any of the priests or nuns would have done, was,
like
throw the flag and
fuck, like people that
behavior
have
problem.
a goddamn sense of humor about being mocked. Like you are mocking, but in a really passive,
I like the guy.
loving way, right?
I like the
Right.
guy. I mean, he was more interesting than half the other teachers we had. And he didn't have the challenge ever, as I've said before in this Catholic school, that the priests or a priest, in this case a couple of them probably, would never miss an opportunity in science class or English class to mix in stuff about religion
Right.
and the Savior and the stuff, and it's like, give me a fucking break.
So God wanted this chemical reaction to go like this. Yeah.
Oh God.
That's-
yeah. I mean,
Yes,
yes, the miracle of science. Yes.
that's amazing. I swear you've told me that story before, and like whenever I listen back to our conversations, very often I will hear you say something and I will think, oh, I should have said X, and then I will hear myself say X because like my brain just went there. So for sure I probably responded that there are these competitions of people that try and draw perfect circles on the blackboard.
Oh yeah.
And what a bizarre fucking skill that is to like,
Yeah.
because
It's very hard.
the ones that do it well have done it 5,000
a
times.
million times.
Like,
Yeah,
so,
a million times.
so it's just like, how many meters of chalk have you spent perfecting this skill that has no purpose whatsoever? Like, good for
Well,
you.
it's art. It's art more than science,
Well, what it is it's boredom. Like it's the fruits of boredom, which I think should be a goddamn TED Talk. Like there's lots of people that are mourning the fact that we no longer experience boredom. Like when I am folding laundry or cooking or out for a walk, I have headphones on and I'm listening to something. And then, you sit down or you're in the goddamn line at the grocery store and people are like scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or whatever. It's just like we've lost this ability to just have nothing or just random thoughts in our minds, and that is not good. Like,
Yeah.
at least I'm not as bad as the people that like play music and or podcasts in the shower. Like there are shower speakers that like you can entertain you when you're in the shower because goddamn is the shower ever boring. Like like so. But like one of the things that I made a real point of when we went camping with my kids was our only phone use is for taking photos to save for memories and like sending messages to like ask for supplies, but like there will be no feed scrolling or anything. And and it worked like a truck. Like once you take that away, you immediately become in the present and you invent. Like my kids spent 2 hours floating on the lake together, just fucking around and like making up games and like see who can do this faster than that or whatever. Like what children are supposed to do. And yeah, so. We got on this because
we had a
teacher.
refreshing experience where two Boy was 12, just but mature physically and emotionally, as far as I could tell, teenage. And his older sister were here, and they're children of my son's girlfriend. And they were so great. They were never on their phone the whole day. I never even saw their phones. They were playing little hoop basketball with the little kids. They were running around doing this. The girl was sitting and talking, and I said, when I said goodbye to her, I said, I'm so glad to meet you, or did you have a good time? And she said, I really did have a good time.
Right.
And she really meant it, you know. And I think back, I should have played bocce with the boy. I was busy cooking, though. I mean, I cooked, and then I was drinking beers, and then I was like, you know what? I don't want to get up.
Boy, I'm too busy drinking beers. So, yes, there is that. And, like, I have a cousin who, their kids, according to all reports, have no phone addiction and are just willing to sit there and talk politely to all the adults and everything, and like, great. But there's another side where, whether we like it or not, our kids are growing up in a world where social media and smartphones and things are a thing. And the sooner you can, like, look the devil in the eye and understand what it is, if you can withstand, you know, his promise of dopamine, then you can, like, at some point everyone's gonna have to learn that skill or whatever. And also, like, social media, as evil as it can be, it has also brought me lots of friendships and love and enjoyment in life. So, like, it's hard to throw that baby out
with the bathwater, right? Well, you know, all things in balance. I mean, that's at the end of the day. I mean, it's got to be purposeful. The interaction online needs to be purposeful. It can't just be, and I'm guilty of this.
Yeah, but that's like saying watching television has to be purposeful.
What's that?
It's like saying watching television has to be purposeful. And, like, we've all, like, surfed channels and been just like, I just want to relax and, like, show me something funny. Like, you weren't purposeful when you were watching Johnny Carson. You were being entertained and whatever, but you weren't, like, I don't know.
Did you watch a lot of Johnny Carson?
No, I was dialing it back to your generation. My reference.
I didn't watch Johnny Carson.
See, there you go. You were out doing stuff. No, but, like, there, mindlessly watching cute puppies trip over each other, like, I push back on the idea that there's zero value in that. Like, it's a relaxing. If you're, like, spiraling into, like, hatred because you're reading Twitter about how, you know, the Jews are ruining everything, and you, like, get really angry, like, that's not good. But there's some level of mindlessness that I think is okay, as long as you've got all your homework done and, like, you really don't have anything better to be doing. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I go down a wormhole every now and then. I said earlier that to remind about, I reread, as I do reread the books I love, I reread Joe Bethany's Coventry.
Yes.
About the prison. And I had marked the book in a couple of places where we discussed it during the show, a phrase here and a phrase there. And in at least one occasion, I had a page marked and I couldn't find it until I finally did. And it was striking because he was making the point about the way that inmates were being treated in the prison and the religion that was there. And the phrase that he used was, they slapped Jesus to a tree, nothing fancy. And I just read it and reread it and read it and said, man, they slapped Jesus to a tree.
Like
nothing fancy.
just a simplified version of the crucifix story, or
With crucifixion, but the point, I'd have to reread it to get better, to be able
Right.
to vocalize the context a little bit better, but it was a perfectly made point.
Yeah.
Being, this isn't complicated stuff, and the whole, mantra in the thing was, there's either convicts and there's guards, and you're one of either, and it's up to you to decide. But when you're a guard, you're right, and when you're a convict, you're wrong. And it doesn't matter whatsoever what
The
others
fact.
would believe. That's the truth of
Right.
it. You can't be wrong, no matter what you do.
right?
And his father was a famous escapee hunter who had inmate whose nickname was Frankenstein, and he was a little guy, and he had been poured lighter fluid on and lit on fire, and when he was a young inmate, and so he had translucent melted skin.
Uh-huh.
But he had a nose of a hound dog, and he could smell, and they called him a dog boy. And McGregor, the father of the main character, who ended up working at the prison, even though he vowed he never would.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about that. But he had stories that one time he beat a prisoner, a convict he found, beat him with a huge black snake that he had found in the weeds, and beat him with that. And another time he picked up a dog and beat the prisoner with a dog.
Wow, I've heard of swinging a dead cat, but
And it, through his life, it was like, I was never wrong, never wrong.
right, wrong in the in the view of the system. Yeah.
And and then in his older age, after he retired, the convicts came back to haunt him, and the devils came and talked to him, and he envisioned them and heard them, and
Good.
it was what he had expected. I knew they'd come back to haunt me. I knew the devils would come, but I can't let them in.
Wow.
When I read the stuff that a gifted writer like him writes, I stop sometimes and say, who thinks of that?
Yeah. What a fucking sentence.
Who thinks of that?
Yep.
And at one point in this novel, I recalled it, and in the introduction and the notes from other authors about the book, they referred to some of his writing as hallucinatory. And I realized, of course, that it was the point of the book near the end in one of the chapters, where the cook shack, which was built in 19-something and had no fire codes of any kind, cinder block and bars, and all the cooks in their whites all slept and had to get up 2 or 3 in the morning to cook breakfast for the 160 inmates at the camp, where he spoke in the voice of the building, and the building said as the opening chapter something like, I don't recall when I first knew that I was a thing.
Whoa.
And
knowledge of existence.
From the building talking about the oppressive heat and the leaky pipes and the odors of sweat and blood and semen and filth.
Jesus.
And it's like, whoa. And it was like, dude, how did you get in the character of the building? I talked to him about it once. He said, yeah, I wondered about putting that in there, but yeah. And it was a turning point of the novel in terms of where it went with an explosion of activities which were surprising and dramatic and so incredibly well-versed and well-written. Poetry as prose.
Right.
And I just couldn't put it down. I mean, I read the whole thing again in like 2 nights, you know. But I'm going to find his first novel and read that again. That's a comedic
a little happier
biography. East Liberty is the name of it. It's hilarious. I've read it 2 or 3 times about growing up in a Italian neighborhood, you know, with all the stories. Oh, yeah.
So, on the plane back, I can't sleep when I have to be like fully upright, like, you know, your Catholic nun teacher is watching you with your posture. Like, that's how I fit in the fucking airline seat. So like I can't possibly sleep.
Yeah.
But I watched several movies, and as I've said before, I often have a hard time remembering the movies that I've watched. But one of them was this Vince Vaughn movie from this year called Nonnas. Have you heard of this? It's
maybe.
It's a true story about a guy who's down on his luck. He lives in Brooklyn, but he's very, very Italian, and his mother dies early on, and he feels sort of unmoored, and but like he really appreciates proper Italian cooking, and so anyway, the general story is he opens a restaurant where all the chefs are like Italian grandmothers, nonnas, and
I got you.
And it's the struggle of like, can he open it? Is he going to get the building permit? And how is this going to actually work? But it's just beautifully written. Like
and Vince Vaughn obviously plays the Italian.
He's the
chef.
He's the guy that starts it, and the chefs are these Italian
right.
grandmothers. One of which is played by Susan Sarandon. And who is
Be Still My Beating Heart.
who is still absolutely gorgeous, but like they wrote it in a way that, like, when we went to the States, my wife had trouble with the jet lag, and sometimes she would like get up at like 3 a.m. because she couldn't sleep anymore, and like one time I got up really early in the morning, but like she had already been up and she was just finishing this movie, and she was on the sofa just crying, and I was like, this must be a good movie, but there's some theory that like you cry more when you're watching movies in an airplane because there's something about the pressure or the dryness of the air that like happens. But boy, this movie was so well written to
And you became emotional.
to elicit emotion. Yes, it was. I had to blow my nose on the blanket that they gave us.
The end of your trip, I hope.
And so, no, but like with each blow, you move it a little bit to the side, and then you blow on that. And then, so I highly recommend that movie to everyone. It's just beautiful family values, and because it's a true story, at the end, as always in the credits, they show you the photos of in little clips of video of the actual people that actually like lived that experience, and that's pretty freaking cool. And apparently, there's still that restaurant is still open in Staten Island. Like you can go there and eat there, which is kind of wild.
Cool. It reminds me of when I was traveling, doing the consulting business, and would go to New Jersey, and would go to a couple towns there, and one place, New Jersey or Pennsylvania, it might have been Philadelphia, but at Bruce Springsteen's stomping grounds,
Yep.
And there was a restaurant that was known not only for its great food, but its amazing portions. And I had to go there, and I had to have a sandwich, which was sort of like the Cat's Delicatessen, Cat's
Yeah.
Kaufman or Cat in New York City.
Yeah.
Same,
That's
same
the
kind of
famous
thing,
one. Yeah.
But I remember when I got a piece of pie, it was a quarter of a pie.
Nice.
And another place, similar reputation. For an appetizer, they brought this huge silver bowl, big around as, like a beach
A
ball.
hubcap.
Like a real soft beach ball. And mounded with ice, and then every square inch
Oysters.
of the ice is covered with seafood.
Shrimp.
Lobster tails, lobster claws, oysters, squid, eel, and put in the middle of a table with four guys.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, for a portion for 8.
Yep. Nice. Yeah.
And it's spun.
Nice. Yeah, we have a thing here where you go and you get what they call a mariscada, which is a collection of steamed or shellfish seafood. It's just a huge fucking platter, and you just go at it with like 4 or 6 people or whatever. It's amazing. So one other film that I watched, which was like I try to dumb the films down as I'm getting towards the end of the flight because my intellect is not all there, and so one of the last ones I chose was never heard of it. This movie called Deep Cover, but I love the premise. It's set in London, I guess, and it's like who better to go deep undercover as like police agents than improv comedians, because the whole time the bad guy is like, yeah, and where's the money, and you have to and as an undercover operative you have to yes and them like improv comedy and be like, yeah, well, the money's out in the car, and well, let's go out to the car, and you have to go, well, actually the car is not here or whatever. Like it's that premise, but like taken to its extreme, which I thought was a pretty clever idea.
Never heard of such an idea.
But it's like, yeah, if you're good at thinking, like you have to be quick on your feet to think.
And were these real comedians that you recognized?
I mean, no, their characters were
Not
comedians.
Sarah Silverstein?
No, their characters were comedians. But like one of the actors, well, one of the people playing the improv comedians was Orlando Bloom, and another was a guy that was in Ted Lasso, and another was beautiful, beautiful redhead who I looked up and is the daughter of Ron Howard.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Slender?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a picture.
Her name is
of
Bryce.
Her,
Which is a weird
her
name.
last name or first name?
Bryce something Howard. So it was just a fun shenanigans heist comedy thing, but it was well put together, and of course the police end up looking like idiots, which is always kind of funny, and as do the evil drug lords. But I don't know. It was a fun romp.
Well, we are just now starting to hear stories of fish from the lake entering the Pere Marquette.
Oh no.
And the water temperature dropped from 70s to 63, and in order to be safe, that when you catch a fish and let it go, the fish lives, the water shouldn't be any warmer than 66. So there was a virtual self-imposed ban on fishing in the rivers until they cooled down. And now they have. It's rained a bit, and the fish are starting to enter. So before my annual fish trip, which begins October 4th and this year runs till the 13th, we added an extra day for no extra cost, which was great.
Okay.
Prior to that, I get to fish the Pierre Marquette before the real crazy season starts, when the fishermen are neck to neck.
Boy, we are going to be sparse on the ground in October, you and I.
Say that
With
again?
our recording, you and I are not going to do much in October, I don't think.
Between the two of
Yeah.
us? Why, what are you doing in October?
Well, I got a thing early in October and then a thing like in around the 18th. So like maybe towards Halloween we might record. But
Yeah. Well,
we'll see.
it'd be what it'd be.
It be what it be.
Yeah, so I got
Let it
a
be.
little physical update. I've been complaining to you about my shoulder,
Please.
and it's been going on since third week of May, and I thought I had a separated shoulder. The self-diagnosis, like, yeah, it could be that. So I go to the surgeon. He gives me the power and the pressure tests, arms this way, press this way, blah, 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 blah. He said, well, you have strength and mobility in your shoulder. It's not an injury. It's severe arthritis. And the only thing that's wrong with you right now is you're experiencing pain. And the only way to get rid of that pain permanently is for me to give you a new shoulder. And I'm like, you say what? And I said, and what about in the
What
meantime?
about drugs, man?
And cortisone, and went right to it. And he said, all right, you could take a pill. I said, dude, I came here for a shot. The shot's got to fix this. I'm going fishing for 2 weeks. I can't be in pain. I'm going to throw this line into the water 2,000 times in a week. It's what you do, 8-10 hours a day.
So if it's
Sometimes with
if it's not strength or
it's bone on bone.
okay, bone on bone sounds like if you ignored the pain, you would hurt yourself more.
So note this, that since I kind of had an incident, it's been inflamed.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that it's giving me trouble is because there's very little room in there to begin with, because after 40 dislocations and multiple arm breaks, etc., that area is a bit deformed to begin with. So what little is left is inflamed, which means that it's like expanded in pressure, and so any little move will hurt it because there's even less room. So the shot actually eliminates the inflammation and gets you back to, all right, now I'm up to my,
Yeah, but the inflammation
some
is a
level.
symptom because the body's trying to fix something.
Well, it can't fix it because every time I move it a certain way, it hurts it. And so the inflammation is like, oh yeah, there I keep it up, oh that, ouch.
So, but you don't want, like, if you have strength and mobility, what is the harm of ignoring the pain? And I guess the answer to that is the pain is there to give you a signal that you're hurting yourself. Like you're
Well,
on
yeah,
bone.
I'm not sure it's as complicated as a signal. There's a part of your body that's in pain, and
well, pain is a
it
signal.
hurts. I mean, it of course it's a signal that you're in pain to some degree, but in and of itself, it's got no redeeming value. You have an injured part. I mean,
Right, but so like when I had pain in my arm, the doctor told me only take something to reduce the pain when you're going to bed at night, because if you take it during the day, then you're gonna not be in pain, and then you will continue to irritate
Overuse your arm, yeah.
the problem. So there must be some logic of like the reason we have pain at all is because the body is like telling us, like, don't do that. So
well,
I don't know.
this shot does not do what many treatments do, which is mask the pain. Instead, it gets at the source of the pain, which is the inflammation, and takes that source away.
Right.
And the pain goes away. So it's more reactive to the actual physical challenge, as opposed to you're going to feel pain, and when you take this pill, that will be dulled.
You're still treating
You
this.
really won't know how you're doing.
You're still treating the symptom. Yes, exactly. You won't know how you're doing.
Yes. You won't know how you're doing.
So-
Be that as it may.
But for a short window where you're like, yeah, I don't care how much bone-on-bone damage I do, I want to fish for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then you take that, and then at the end you see how much damage you've done.
Yes.
And
Send me to hell a little bit longer. It won't be that. I'm there anyway.
that's got to be a song. Send me to hell a little bit longer.
Yeah. So I stopped a lot of the physical labor I was doing, so my arm felt better, and I've been sleeping better.
Turns
my
out-
wife and I took a trip, spent overnight at the old Lakeside Inn on Lake Michigan with a beautiful garden and fountain in the back and sparkling, twinkling sunlight through the trees. I took a nap on the grass, read a book, and then 150 steps down to the lake. But 4 stops along the way if you need it. And went down and stood almost in the water, but very cold, in the high 50s, unseasonable,
Yeah.
and very windy. But when you were up on the shore, like behind the huge break of the trees between the lake and the inn, and the fact that it's a huge cliff on the backside of the inn, there's none of that crazy, strength of breeze and all that other stuff. It's just dappled
It
sunlight.
must be beautiful.
And an old time room, that they call the library room, that was all like mahogany,
With the books.
wood everywhere with a nice little shower. We had such a good time. Went out to eat at let's see, I'll remember the country, but Mediterranean, Mideastern food.
Morocco.
And I enjoyed what we had pretty much, but it was expensive and it was like, it wasn't remarkable,
Yeah.
And for $135 for 2 people for dinner,
It better fucking
I want it to be remarkable.
Yeah. No kidding.
yeah. The
Interesting.
lentil soup was remarkable, but I just got a cup. I wished I'd gotten 2 bowls of it. It would have been a better meal.
So let me tell you about my weekend. So we were gonna fly. So my son and I had a flight at 3:30 p.m. from Charlotte to Madrid, and we got there. Like, I can never sit around and wait until it's like time to actually go. I just when I'm at home and like everything's packed, I'm like, well, why don't we just go and I'll just wait at the airport because
I'd rather wait at the airport
because
than be,
so many traffic things could go wrong on the way there, and like,
Yeah.
you just don't know. So anyway, we got to the gate an hour and a half before boarding. So fine, we're sitting at the gate. So then we board the plane, we get on, and we're sitting there for a little while, as is often the case. And after sitting on the plane for an hour, they come on and they say, hey, so turns out this plane don't fly. So
light bulb went out. We can't get it.
So everybody off. And so we all had to deplane, as they say in America. And so we all got off, and then there was like questions about what was happening. Long story short, 4 hours after our original departure time, we got on another plane. Same exact.
Which you made 5.5.
Same exact model. No. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So same exact model. So it was weird deja vu-y thing of like sitting down in the same seat and having the same people sit all around you, like that just happened a couple hours ago. And so then we were 4 hours late. We were supposed to arrive at 5:30 in the morning, but then we arrived at 9:30 or whatever. And so then there was a 4-hour drive home because Madrid
God.
is 4 hours away. But it was a single flight.
Oh Lord!
Like typically we do 2 flights, and it sucks in a different way. But yes, so but I was able to lean my seat back, and I had a thing to cover my eyes, and I pretty much, because I hadn't slept in 25 hours because I had
Who drove?
my wife. She had come down and stayed with some cousins the night before in Madrid, so she was there.
Gotcha.
And
She went back ahead of you a couple days.
yeah, a week.
Or a whole
yeah.
week.
And so it was, we drove back, and then we had a little bit of nap time, and then it was important to my wife that we go out that night partying on Saturday night to this nearby town that was having this huge festival party
Near Madrid or near your?
near my home. So we drove the 4 hours back, got home around 3 p.m., got a couple hours of rest, a little bit of sleep, and then by 9 we were out dancing and partying in the street for like 3 or 4 hours. And then we came home and slept again, and then I slept, I guess, from 11 p.m. to 12 noon. And then we immediately had to go back to party. So we were partying then again for another 4 or 5 hours or more. And anyway, I slept for like 13 hours the first night, and then 12 hours the second night. And because I hadn't slept for 25 hours, so those add up.
Right.
So just a crazy loud music, dancing, beer filled.
You're not back to normal yet.
Like return to Spain, just like, yeah, man, here we are, like crazy life. So it's now, I'm fairly settled after a couple days, but not entirely, but crazy fucking weekend.
What a
like
time.
the whole idea of like flying back and being jet lagged and then just being like,
yeah,
all right, time to party.
Yeah.
Is like,
yeah.
whoa.
And you get into a state.
Yes.
When you're traveling of, you've got to be just real cool about the fact that there's some things you can't change.
Yes.
And you have to abide by it.
Yes.
A straight seat that won't go back.
Yes.
Someone next to you that is eating tuna fish and farting.
This is
a baby in the seat ahead of you.
It's so fucking
crying.
mindful, like, which is why my policy is with my kids, like, you can eat whatever fucking junk food you want when we're traveling. I don't care, because this fucking sucks for everybody. But it goes back to, like, it goes back to what I was talking about last week about floating down the river of, like, you can't control any of this. This is, so, like, people ask, like, my kids ask me all the time, how long is our flight? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't fucking care, because it doesn't, like, knowing that changes nothing about my experience. Like, it's going to be as long as it is, and whatever happens, and we just have to, when you're traveling, you're just at the mercy of the winds and the waves that are pushing you, like a turtle, like a sea turtle in the water. Like, you're just gonna go where the current takes you, man.
Oh man.
Am I right?
Oh river, stay away from my door, yeah, yeah.
I love that song.
I got a cabin. You don't need no cabin.
I heard that on your set list.
River, stay away from my door. Leave my bed and my fire. Oh, that's all that I own. Leave my bed and my fire. It's all I own. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Don't go breaking my heart. I ain't breaking your heart. Oh, river, stay away from my door. Now, you know that song from Ray and the Blue Tones?
No, I know that song because you sent your set list to my father and he played it and I heard it.
Oh.
And I thought, what a beautiful idea to address a river in the second person.
Yeah.
Of like, please. And also, especially after I heard that, we went down the river that had been ravaged by Helene, and there was all this damage, and I really felt the, oh river, you don't need to take my cabin, please, bro. Like,
leave my bed and my fire, it's all I own.
Right.
And I love these songs that have a horn part. You know, because I look for that. I've got a friend, Steve, who plays horn. I'm always kind of thinking about him joining at some point, although my band is not particularly open to interlopers, as they would call them. But that's got that great horn stuff in it. Yeah.
It's just, it's adorable to address nature, but like specifically one aspect of nature, because it's a metaphor for addressing God, basically. Like it's like stuff out of our control. Like the river is out of your control, and to just ask the river is to pray in all the aspects of praying.
I got a cabin. You don't need no cabin. Oh, river, stay away from my door.
Love it.
No, 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 don't come up any higher. I'm so all alone. Leave my bed and my fire, it's all I own. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Don't go breaking my heart. I ain't breaking your heart. Oh, river. Oh, I said river. Oh, river. Stay away from my door. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba.
Yeah, baby.
I'm out of here, my man.
Peace, bro. Love you.
Peace out.
All right, that's it for episode number 260. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/260, where there's a link to a YouTube video of a guy drawing a perfect circle, and there's links to the movies that I talked about, and other interesting things. You can support the show at patreon.com/happyhour, and we would really appreciate it. See you next week.